Hello, everyone. This is Veronica Kirilenko of the New American Magazine. We're here in Orlando, Florida, attending CPAC, speaking with interesting people. And here with us today, we have Madison Gesiotto Gilbert. She is a former Miss Ohio and Miss USA, I believe, certainly one of the most beautiful attendees. Pardon me, I'm just old-fashioned. You are, and she's also running for Ohio's 9th Congressional District. Madison, I know that you just got endorsed by the CPAC. Congratulations on that. But I know you still have 2 Republican and at least 1 independent contender. Please tell us, why should people in Ohio vote for you and not for them?
Well, we're so very excited about the race. We're the only candidate in the race that has a clear path to victory. Marcy Kaptur, the Democratic incumbent, has been in office for 38 years. She's actually the longest serving woman in Congress. And so it's really incredible to see that she's been there for that long. But for the very first time, we had a great map shift in Ohio. And so we unfortunately lost 1 congressional district due to the census. So we went from 16 to 15 districts. But when we did so, we saw a shift in our map. So we went from a D+9 to an R+4.5. So now we are a district that Trump not only won in 16, but he won in 20 by 3 additional points. So when we jumped into the race in December, we only had 35 days left in the quarter, and our support from the very beginning was very, very strong. We brought in $365,000 in that first month, which was incredible, very exciting. Obviously, as a first-time candidate, we outraised Marcy Kaptur by $125,000, and the other Republican contenders, I think, by 5 to 7 times over each. So we were very excited about our results. And of course, on top of the financial aspect of the race, we also have strong grassroots, and we're working on building up an infrastructure in many of the counties that have been forgotten about for so long. And so hoping to not only show everybody our clear path to victory in the race, but also see how we can impact on a grassroots level so many of these counties and pick up some potential local races in the future as well.
Madison, you mentioned that you're a first-time candidate, so naturally people do not know much about you. So would you please tell us about your core political values and beliefs?
Sure. So I've been involved in politics for about 10 years now. Many people obviously know me from my work with Fox News Channel and with my column with Washington Times. But on top of that, I've been actively involved in many specific issues like the pro-life movement and the Second Amendment. I actually just walked out from speaking here at CPAC on the Second Amendment and on what's going on in our federal government and across the world right now. In 2017, I was the spokesperson and regional press secretary for President Trump on the inauguration. I've worked with the president since day one and have been very active in what he's gotten accomplished on the campaign side. And spreading the word on Tax Cuts and Jobs Act back in 2017. Very excited about the prospects of being in Congress and being a fresh new voice for the district, representing our congressional delegation in the state of Ohio, and also getting into Congress and being someone who is going to take action. I talked this morning in my panel about how often, we've knocked on doors, we've made phone calls, we've donated our hard-earned money to candidates who turn around in both parties and they turn their backs on us and they don't do what they say they're going to do and they spend and spend and spend. Hence why we're at $30 trillion national debt. And so wanting one of those very first things I do in Congress to introduce a balanced budget amendment.
Madison, you mentioned that you worked with the Trump campaign. I know that you were a co-chair of the National Women for Trump, how do you call it, organization, I guess. And how do you feel about President Trump? And would you like to see him running again, maybe?
I love President Trump. I was with him day one in 2016, very proud of all that he's accomplished and being one of those very few people who made promises and kept them. I mean, the hundreds and hundreds of promises made in the 2016 campaign trail that he was able to keep in such a short time and exceed expectations of so many was absolutely incredible. I really wish he was still president today. I would love to have him back in office. I think he's been a fabulous representative for our country. And also in so many ways, I mean, people were skeptical of him in 16 and look at what he did on the international scale with keeping peace. And we're seeing now, unfortunately, what's going on across the world and wishing he was our president in peace through strength once again for the United States.
Who would you be your second choice?
My second choice, I don't know. A lot can happen in a couple years, but I think we have a lot of strong people that could run for president in the future or even, team up with Trump in 24 and potentially run in 28. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, a friend of mine, is fabulous. Governor DeSantis, obviously well-loved and has done a great job here in Florida. I mean, the list goes on and on. I think as Republicans, we can feel very strongly that we have amazing representatives and a deep bench of people that could potentially represent our country, unlike the Democrats who, as we saw in the 2020 Democratic primary debates, don't have much of a a deep bench at all, and really quite chaotic group of people in the Democratic Party that have gone farther to the left than we could ever imagine. I mean, even you look back at 2016 when people said Bernie Sanders was radical, and he's become the mainstream now. I mean, some of them are more radical than he is. So it's very incredible to see what has happened in a short time in our country.
That was Madison Gesiotto Gilbert, Ohio's 9th Congressional District. Madison, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.